the Great American Heist. It was supposed to be the perfect crime, a group of thieves, a vault loaded with millions of dollars, and a getaway plan so clever it left investigators scratching their heads for years. But at the end of this story, you'll find out how a tiny mistake brought it all crashing down. Before they even set their sights on the vault, Tony and his crew were already seasoned pros at smaller jobs. They honed their skills on low-profile burglaries, perfecting their timing and learning to avoid detection. Frankie's lock-picking expertise came in handy during jewelry store hits, while Sal mastered the art of quick getaways by navigating crowded city streets with ease. Joe, ever the sharp lookout, developed a sixth sense for spotting undercover cops and suspicious bystanders. Over time, these smaller heists built not only their confidence but also a bankroll that would allow them to fund their most ambitious operation yet. But pulling off a job of this magnitude required more than just experience. It demanded months of planning, reconnaissance, and most importantly, trust. Each member had to rely on the others without hesitation. They knew that any slip-up, not just during the heist but in the preparation itself, could spell disaster. It was this unwavering trust and commitment to perfection that set them apart from other crews. Our story begins in 1972 in Brooklyn, New York. A group of small-time crooks led by a man named Anthony Tony Guglielmo came together to pull off the biggest heist of their lives. Tony had a reputation for being a street-smart hustler with a knack for planning intricate jobs. He had assembled a crew of trusted men, each with a specific role: muscle, driver, safecracker, and lookout. They weren't just random criminals, they were professionals in their trade. Each member was carefully chosen for their loyalty and specific skill set. Tony knew that trust was paramount in a job like this. One weak link could spell disaster. Their target? The United California Bank in Laguna, California. Why this bank, you ask? It was rumored to hold millions in cash and valuables belonging to wealthy clients, including some dirty money stashed by influential figures. This made the job even riskier, but the payoff was too tempting to resist. Tony had learned about this bank through a contact in New York who claimed that the vault could contain as much as $30 million. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Tony wasn't just any criminal. He was meticulous. He spent months planning every detail of the heist, from scouting the bank's layout to studying the habits of the bank's security guards. He even went as far as timing how long it took for nearby police patrols to circle the area. They chose the bank because it was located in an affluent neighborhood and was known for holding large cash reserves for high-profile clients. More importantly, it had weak security compared to other banks. On March 24, 1972, the crew made their move. They drove across the country from New York to California in a beat-up old van packed with tools and equipment. To avoid suspicion, they changed vehicles frequently along the way, staying in cheap motels and keeping a low profile. The cross-country drive was tense. They couldn't afford to be pulled over for any reason, so they stuck to back roads and avoided major highways. Their plan? Break into the bank vault by digging a tunnel from a nearby building. Tony had rented a small commercial space adjacent to the bank, claiming to be a contractor. He even went as far as setting up fake construction equipment outside to maintain appearances. Over several nights, the gang worked tirelessly, using drills, hammers, and crowbars to break through the thick concrete wall. They covered their tracks by working late at night and disguising the noise with a radio blasting music. It was grueling work. The dust from drilling filled the air, making it difficult to breathe. Every sound made them anxious. They knew that if anyone heard them, the entire operation would be over. They took turns digging while one man stood guard outside to alert them of any suspicious activity. Finally, after days of digging, they broke through. Inside the vault, they found exactly what they were hoping for: millions in cash, gold, and jewels. The sheer amount was staggering. Bundles of $100 bills, gold bars neatly stacked, and small pouches filled with diamonds. They loaded everything into bags, carefully avoiding any alarms or security measures. By the time the sun rose, Tony and his crew were gone without a trace, leaving behind nothing but an empty vault and a hole in the wall. The heist was immediately dubbed one of the most daring bank robberies in American history. The police were baffled. There were no witnesses, no alarms tripped, and no clear evidence left behind. It seemed like Tony's crew had pulled off the perfect crime. But no crime is truly perfect. The FBI took over the investigation and began piecing together the clues. They interviewed dozens of people, combed through records, and scrutinized the crime scene. The investigators noticed something unusual: muddy footprints leading into the vault. This mud wasn't typical for the area around the bank. The mistake? Mud. The crew had tracked mud into the bank from a nearby construction site, which led investigators to their hideout. The investigators noticed the same type of mud at the rented commercial space. They also found a small piece of broken drill bit left behind in the vault, a drill bit that matched the set found in Tony's possession. Once there, the FBI found tools matching the marks left on the vault. Tony and his crew were arrested shortly after, following an intense nationwide manhunt. In the end, Tony and his gang were convicted and sentenced to long prison terms. The United California bank heist remains one of the most legendary robberies in American history, not just because of the money stolen, but because of the audacity of the plan and how close they came to getting away with it. And that tiny mistake, it proves one thing: no matter how perfect a crime seems, there's always a crack in the plan. And that crack can be something as simple as a smudge of mud, a fragment of a broken tool, or a moment of overlooked detail. Tony's crew thought they had covered every angle, every possible risk. But in the end, fate, or perhaps their own carelessness, played a hand in their downfall. Think about it. They had crossed the country, evaded detection, breached one of the most secure vaults in the state, and escaped with millions. Yet, the one thing they couldn't control was the dirt beneath their feet. It's a reminder that in every grand scheme, it's often the smallest, most unassuming elements that determine success or failure. Tony and his gang would go down in history as the masterminds behind one of the boldest heists ever attempted. Their story would inspire countless books, documentaries, and even Hollywood films. But they would also serve as a cautionary tale. No matter how well you plan, there's always an unforeseen factor waiting to unravel everything. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, hit the like button and subscribe for more real-life heists and mysteries. See you in the next one.